Ya Ali Madad, all friends. Ya Ali Madad Aziz sir.
या अली मदद या अली मदद बहुत खूब सुभान अल्लाह। ये बहुत अच्छा आपने विराम लगाया था कि किस तरह से पीर माँ बाप जमात को दावत देते हैं, मोमिनों को दावत देते हैं कि आप आ जाओ, अब घर पे आ जाओ, असल की तरफ आ जाओ। बहुत खूब, बहुत अच्छा विराम, बहुत नवाजिश। आज हम वहीं से आगाज करेंगे जहां पर हम कल इस वीडियो को ऑडियो के साथ पेश नहीं कर सके थे, तो आज हम कोशिश करेंगे इसको पेश करने की। तो बिस्मिल्लाह करते हैं इसी वीडियो से। छोटा सा क्लिप है और देखें कि इमाम ज़मान क्या फरमाते हैं जमात खाने के बारे में और नए जमात खाने के हिसाब से। तो बिस्मिल्लाह करते हैं।
Under the leadership and direction of His Highness the Aga Khan, the Imam or spiritual leader of the Shia Ismaili Muslim community, Ismaili centers have been established in countries around the world where Ismailis reside. The Ismaili Center Houston will join centers in London, Vancouver, Lisbon, Dubai, Dushanbe, and Toronto. Rooted in the rich tapestry of Muslim heritage, the architecture of the Ismaili centers draws inspiration from historic decorative traditions. Each center is architecturally distinct, fusing local architectural styles with traditional design elements. Through their design and functions, the Ismaili centers reflect a mood of humility, friendship, and dialogue with a forward outlook, providing spaces for broadening intellectual horizons and fostering an appreciation of pluralism, as well as for congregational prayer and spiritual search.
One of the ways in which the Ismailis have expressed their identity wherever they have lived is through their places of prayer, known today as the Jamatkhana.
My daughter is being treated for leukemia. It hit me hard. It did.
Other Muslim communities give their religious buildings different names, from ribat and zawiya to khanaka. And in addition, there are other places where Muslims of all interpretations can come together, such as the non-denominational mosques. What we dedicate today is what we identify as an Ismaili center, a building that is focused around our Jamatkhana, which also includes many secular spaces. These are places where Ismailis and non-Ismailis, Muslims and non-Muslims, will gather for shared activities, seminars and lectures, recitals and receptions, exhibitions and social events. These meeting halls and lounges, work offices, and conference rooms will serve the organizational needs of the Ismaili community. But they will also, we trust, be filled with the sounds of enrichment, dialogue, and warm human rapport as Ismailis and non-Ismailis share their lives in a healthy, gregarious spirit. The center will be a place of peace, humility, reflection, and prayer. It will be a place of search and enlightenment, not of anger or of obscurantism. It will be a center which will seek to bond men and women in this pluralist country, to replace their fragility in their narrow spheres by the strength of civilized society bound together by a common destiny. It is already a symbol of the hopes of people who lived through change and turbulence and have ultimately found security and opportunity here in the United States, and the majority of whom have chosen the state of Texas.
Thank you so much for listening to this great video with two of the Imam's guidance, a vision for new Jamaat Khanas all around the world. And this will be the 7th one in Houston. But as I promised yesterday, there will be many, many talks about Houston Ismaili Center. We are here to acknowledge and talk about another new Jamaat Khana, not a Ismaili Center, but equally rich in its design and the symbolism. And that is the Jamaat Khana that we will talk about today. Yesterday, we had ended with who can build new Jamaat Khana, who gives permission to build Jamaat Khanas, what is the purpose of building a Jamaat Khana. Here we can see there are two types of Jamaat Khana built today. One, what we call Ismaili Center, high-profile Jamaat Khanas. And then there are much smaller Jamaat Khanas built around the world, which normally do not receive too much attention. But nevertheless, are very rich in these symbols, its art, the way they are created, what it shows to the community around that Jamaat Khana. In the city they are built, in the neighborhood they are built. They are part of that neighborhood and that community, which Imam emphasized in his speech in Houston, that it must be integrated with the community around that Jamaat Khana where Ismailis lives. Before we go into our Jamaat Khana of Dallas, Texas, which is now built and ready and waiting for Imam's Talika. And who knows, this Talika can come today, or it can come tomorrow, or it can come next week. Imam, whenever he wills and wish, Jamaat will start to go to their Jamaat Khana and start offering their prayers. Until then, the Jamaat will continue to go to the Jamaat Khanas around there, whichever Jamaat Khana they normally attend. There are two farman. While I was looking at the new Jamaat Khana or Imam's guidance for the Jamaat Khana, in the hundreds and thousands of faramin of Shah Karim. During that, I came with these two faramin And I don't remember seeing this Faramin before. I don't know how we had missed this Faramin, or at least I have. So I thought it would be nice, very informative for our friends online and those who will listen to this tomorrow, to see what are the views of the Imam regarding the new Jamaat Khanas, and what activities should it take place and activities it should not take place in the Jamaat Khana. What does Imam think of, and what does Imam want us to do when it comes to the Jamaat Khana? The word Jamaat Khana, the house of Mu'mineen, tells us something. But as we move into the integrated pluralist societies, mixed marriages, and now we can see with Shah Rahim Al-Husseini Hazar Imam how he is opening this Jamaat Khana for the other family members who may not be in the bayat of the Imam Zaman. So this two farman comes to my mind, and we already know the current of Shah Rahim. So these two farman are from Shah Rahim Al-Husseini, Shah Kareem Al-Husseini Hazar Imam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. The first one is titles and Jamaat Khana. And these titles are that normally Jamaat runs after, and what that has to do or not to do with Jamaat Khana. So Mullah says, my spiritual children should understand that if they are given a title, all well and good, but this does not mean that they come to Jamaat Khana more or less than other people. If you come regularly, if you have been admitted to Baitul Khayal, and if you have been regular in attendance, if you have done your religious duties regularly, this is much more important than any title that can be given. And I want my spiritual children to always remember this. See, most of the time, Imam is reading our mind. We think the title holder means he is a Mu'min and he is regular in his Jamaat Khana attendance and the duty toward the Tariqah and Baitul Khayal. That is the wrong understanding a concept. Because remember, title holders are just like you and me, our brothers and sisters, and for whatever service they have given to the Imam Zaman, they may one title or the other. Sometimes titles are given just for asking. Just for asking. During the Diamond Jubilee, hundreds upon hundreds received the title of Huzur Mukhi. All of you are probably remember when there was an announcement that if you have given any service for a certain period of time, and if you put your name in that list, they will give you a title of Huzur Mukhi. Just for asking. Because Imam is Rahman and Rahim. He loves his Jamaat and he loves the services, the khidmat that you do for the Jamaat, for the Jamatkhana, and for the Imam of the time. More or less, he wants to reward you. And some reward comes spiritually, some reward comes physically, and some reward comes in the form of titles. But at the end of the day, we are all one Jamaat, brother and sisters. So don't judge the title holders that because they are title holder, now they have to come to Jamatkhana every day. They must come to Bethel Khiyal. They must do this and that. No, they are just like you and me. Whatever duty you have toward the Jamaat, Jamatkhana and Imam, they have the same duty. But since they are given the title, hopefully they will behave and become a role model for us Garib and Nachis. That is expected. But anything more than that, we should not hold them accountable for that. Mullah further says, those of you who are working for the good of the Jamaat and who are working for Imam, you cannot all receive title. You see that? You don't have to run after the title to be a khidmat guzar. And Imam is acknowledging you this way, that all of you who are working for the Imam and the Jamaat, you cannot all receive title. But I want you to understand that if you take an example of those spiritual children who on every occasion, when I come to East Africa in this Farman, or any Jamaat Khana, or city, or state, or country, those spiritual children do not all get titles. Yet they have done a great deal of work. And you know, they put hundreds and thousands of hours to make it possible. I do not want spiritual children to start trying to think that this is the time that I must get a title of Wazir, Alija, Ismadi, Count, etc. And there is one other farman. Let's recite the Holy Salawat again. Allah, Allah, Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. This is about politics in the Jamatkhana. What does Imam says about that? Lastly, I would like my spiritual children to remember that I do never wish to hear of any spiritual child making political speech in Jamatkhana. Politics have nothing to do in the Jamatkhana. Any individual spiritual children wish to take part in the political development of the country, then this is excellent. But they need not speak for the Jamaat, nor are they to speak about politics in Jamatkhana. They are to go into the political field as individuals, not representing Imam or the Jamaat wherever they may be living. So I thought this was very great farman for the subject that we are talking about. Now we are into our subject where I want to show the friends here today And inshallah, with this video being recorded, it will be shared with other Ismailis all around the world. Art as an expression of faith. Throughout the history, humans have been drawn to art, which informs, challenges, and shapes the way we see ourselves and the world around us. Art even tells stories, brings people together, and invoking emotion through vivid moment of or expressive language. In its many forms, art serves as a way to comment on the individual and collective human experiences. Art also plays a significant role in the practice of faith, helping us to understand and recognize elements of the divine in everyday life. I found this on Ismaili.org, and I thought I wanted to say this. This is exactly what I have in my mind, but looks like someone have beat me to it. So giving them a credit that they have already thought of this. I just like to take you a step further and into a particular and special Jamatkhana near myself and the people and friends and Jamaat living in Dallas. I have already spoken about the Plano Jamatkhana and the 9 pillars of Plano Jamatkhana. If you have not heard that lecture, I would strongly recommend and encourage to see the symbolism and how it matters in the practice of the faith. And then when you enter this kind of Jamaat Khanas, you will start to see the signs, the symbols of Allah in front of you, which you normally would not or have no reason to thought. So let's start. The new Jamatkhana, Louisville, Texas, that is on close to 121 and in the city of Louisville, which is right next to Carrollton and Frisco, where most of the Ismailis living around Carrollton Jamatkhana lives today. A great shift in the Jamaat. So this is the Louisville Jamatkhana. So one morning, early morning, I was not even thinking of this subject. I was taking a walk. While I was walking, I looked to my left and I see this building, this Jamatkhana. And normally I do not walk there. But I just wanted to see how far this new Jamatkhana will be built from my home. So I walked and I got to this Jamatkhana. And I can tell you truly, it was not me going towards the Jamatkhana. It was truly an inspiration which was drawing me toward the Jamatkhana. Because now, early in the morning, in the quiet street, I could see things which I could never see otherwise. And this is what I saw. And I would like to share that with my friends here on this line today. And inshallah, with those who will join us in the future. I look to my left and I see these 12 windows on the right side of the Jamatkhana. And the way these 12 windows are put in, situated, not all 12 together, 6 to the right, 4 to the left, and 2 in the middle. And instantly, I could see the symbolism in the art. Remember, each Jamatkhana is uniquely built to show the symbols to those who want to see what it is all about. And remember, our Jamatkhana is supposed to inspire us spiritually and intellectually. So this is what I saw. And I will start from the left to right. So first I saw 4 windows on the left and 2 in the center. So I will explain those, and then we will come to the 6 windows together on the right side of it. The 4 windows to the left, separated by a wall, and then 2 windows, and then again separated by a wall, and then 6 windows. This total makes 12 Hudud-e-Din, the hierarchy of religion. And you will see how perfectly they are placed for those who could see and get inspiration from it. The 4 batini Hudud-e-Din, the high ranks, the universal intellect, the universal soul, the natik and the asas, the speaker and the foundation of this Islam and Ismaili tariqa, upon which the Islam, the natural religion, and the Ismaili tariqa stands upon. Akle kul, nafse kul, natik and asas, the 4 higher spiritual rank within the 12 ranks, the hierarchy of religion. If we need to explain this further, let me know, and we can go into detail of some of that. Natik stands for those 5 great Natikin, which are mentioned in the Quran, from Hazrat Noah, Hazrat Ibrahim, Hazrat Musa, Hazrat Isa, and Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Asas represent each first Imam after this Natikin, as Mola Ali was the Asas of Muhammad Mustafa, peace be upon him, the foundational Imam, the Asas, the foundation of religion. Then what do we see? Amazingly, 2 separate windows, not to the left and not to the right. but in the middle. And that represents a present and always a window to the batin. And those two are the Imams. Let's call them Imam Sabiq and Imam Lahik, meaning that Imam Barhak and the Imam who would be the next Imam. In our Hudud-e-Deen's books and lesson, we call them Imam Musakkar, Imam Barhak, Imam Laik, Imam Hujjat-e-Azam or Bab, meaning a present Imam and next Imam. In our current history, these two windows will show Shah Karim and Shah Rahim Salawatullah alayhi, Imam Sabiq and Imam Laik, the Imam Barhak and Hujjat-e-Azam, who now have become Imam. So this two window in center represents two Imam, and you can call it previous Imam and current Imam, or you can call them current Imam and the next Imam. And Imams are the window to the batin that you see on the left, which is Asas, Natik, Nafsekul, and Aklekul. And this two window is our window, our view into the Batini Tariqa of Islam, the Ismaili Tariqa. This would be the lecture that you want to share with your family and your friends and your other brother and sister, so they see the Jamaat Khanas wherever they're going in a different view, how each symbol represents a deeper understanding of our tariqah. So this were the 6 windows, 4 to the left and 2 in the middle. Let's look at the 6th window to the right. Again, as a reminder, art as an expression of faith. Art also plays a significant role in the practice of the faith. Remember that statement. Helping us to understand and recognize elements of the divine in everyday life, in our daily practice, in our Jamatkhana, wherever we go, you will find some symbols, signs of Allah in it. And those are placed by design. By design. So let's talk about the 6 windows together on the right. You notice one thing, that I have colored them gray, which represent, even though they are hierarchy of religion, but you know what else it represent? Any one of the great mu'minins, spiritual children of the Imam, if they want to follow the Imam, his farman, they can reach to these levels. You could be in one of this window. You choose, and I'm going to also tell you this, or you can choose with your free will not to be any of this window. This is a very important point. This sixth window represents those Hakiki Mu'mineen who wish to be the window to the batin, to the Jamatkhana, to our tariqah, to the imamat, to the ruhaniyat. And they can be the window to the Jamatkhana. But they also have a free will not to be a window to the Jamatkhana. Meaning, they do not have to be part of the Jamatkhana. But I hope and wish and pray that you will find yourself in one of this window. And this time I'm going to start from the right and then we will go to the left. Every single murid of the Imam, spiritual children of the Imam Zaman, are called Mu'mineen, murid, spiritual children of the Imam Zaman. Amongst this Mu'mineen, those who wish to answer the calling of the farman of the Imam, and they say, we wish to be a learner. We wish to know more about our tariqah. We wish to recognize the Imam. We would like to practice the ibadat so we may have the ruhani recognition of the Imam and the Nur. Personal search, learning, 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 and learning. They become responder, a mustajib, the very first window into the Jamatkhana. Jamatkhana represent the batin of the Ismaili tariqah. And they become the first window of the Jamatkhana. As they have opened the window of their heart. So Imam have opened a window into the batin, window of a Jamatkhana toward the batin of Ismaili tariqah. And then the second window, an enhancement to the mustajib, he becomes mazune medud, the limited izan, to show other the batin of Ismaili tariqah. And then an enhancement to that is mazune mutallak, a broader izan to talk about our tariqah and the spiritual side of our tariqah. Let me explain what is the difference between second and the third. Second one, you can talk about our tariqah, but not too much the batin of our tariqah, but the zahir of our tariqah. Whereas one on the left, the mazune mutallak, have the broader izan to talk about the batin of our tariqah. Then comes the dai. And as you can see, the dai are two kinds. Let's call it in English a potential dai and actual dai. Or we can say dai medud, a very limited dai who can give the dawat toward the batin of our tariqah, but with very limited sense, as he is a potential dai, not with the kulli ilm of our tariqah. He cannot give a kulli batini interpretation of our faith. Whereas dai mutallaq is with the kulli total understanding of the batin of our faith. And therefore, he can give the dawat to the batin, the interpretation of the batin of our faith. And do remember, all of this comes with the amr of the Imam Zaman. It is given by the Imam. And who amongst us do not remember that? When Imam told us that you are all my dais. Initially, we all became potential dai. And then, if we follow the farman of the Imam, there is a possibility that we will become an actual dai with the kulli understanding of the batin of our faith. And the last window, so if you are going from the right to the left, this will be the last of the 6th window on the right side. And remember, it is gray, meaning any moment can reach to this status. And the last one is Ujjat. In our Gujarati Jamaat, the Indo-Pak Jamaat, we call them Peer. A Peer can be from the moment too. Like we have seen in our history, Peer Sabzali is a good example that even a moment can reach to the level of Peer. Also, we cannot forget the farman of the Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, Salawatullah alayhi, may our soul be sacrificed to the Imam, that you can become like Pir Sadruddin, Pir Shams. You can become like Hazrat Isa. You can become like angels, and you can go even further than that. So this was the final last window which can be obtained by any spiritual child, a Ruhani son or a daughter, older or a younger. They can reach this 6th status within our tariqah, which is a very unique to our tariqah. Very unique. Look, you are standing in the same line as the 12 Hudud-e-Din, but your free will plays a great role. If you wish to be one of the window of the Jamatkhana, or you can say, I do not want to be a window of Jamatkhana, and never accept and never respond to the ilm of the Imam, and never learn anything of the batin of our tariqah. But you always remain part of the one Jamaat and the spiritual children of the Imam-e-Zaman. So those are the 12 windows. While I was looking at this and was amazed, I noticed one other thing. And I was more surprised looking at this. As I was coming from this side, initially I only saw these 5 pillars. You see this? I hope you can see my screen, and I'm pointing to these 5 pillars on the left. I only saw these 5 pillars. But as I walked closer and closer, all of a sudden, these 2 more pillars standing here separately shows up. And this is the corner, meaning if you are on this side to the left, you only see 5 pillars. Until you come to that right in the middle of it, in the corner of the 2 walls, then you see 2 more pillars on the right side. And that was an eye-opening, a moment of inspiration, that how beautiful the expression of art, expression of faith, expression of belief, and the symbols are put into this Jamatkhana. The 5 on the left, on one hand, represents Panchtan-e-Pak. But at the same time, when you take this 7 together, it represents 7 days of Allah. 7 days of Allah. So 5 on the left, on one hand represent Panchtan-e-Pak, and 2 on the right, included in it, represents 7 days of Allah. Now imagine that. How genius of this symbolism that is. That in one thing, we are seeing Panchtan-e-Pak on one side, and in the same token, in the same view, we are looking at the 7 days of Allah. So now the question came to my mind, and I'm sure question is coming to your mind as you get inspired by this design. Why 2 separate pillars and 5 separate pillars to the left? If this is representing the 7 days of Allah, then why they are not? How come they are not? What is the reason for that? Because if you notice, and I'm sure somebody is already thinking that Aziz sir must have forgotten there are 6 Natikins. But earlier I said 5 Natikins. Who noticed that? That I said 5 Natik. Starting from Hazrat Noah to Hazrat Safa. Because the 2 others, 2 days of Allah, which represents Adam and the Qayyim, the first day and the seventh day, the beginning and ending, can only be seen if you are paying attention. One cannot find the time or the place where Adam and Qayyim came together until and unless they have their corner view, the perfect view, and have the eyes to see things which is in the plain sight, but only can be seen those who can see. Otherwise, they will miss it completely. Completely will miss it. And those two pillars represent Adam and the Qayyim. Two eras like a midnight, where there is one and there is two. End of the day and the beginning of the day combinedly at the one junction. But only those can see who can see. So 5 on the left represent 5 of the Natiqeen and 2 very separate understanding. Adam as the absolute Mustajib and Qayyim as the absolute Imam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Let me show you one more time. Remember what I said. Ilm and symbols in plain sight, but only can be seen if you have the eyes to see. So let me ask you here. What do you see? Do you see 5 windows? Do you see the symbol of 5? Let me show you something. Do you see 5 or 7? Do you see 5 or 7? You see how it is hidden in the plain sight. To some, there is only 5 windows. But those who could see, they can see there are 2 hidden windows as a pillar. As the pillar of the religion. And that is Adam and the Qayyim, which are very hidden, but stands as the beginning and the ending, 2 pillars. Other 5 on the top, very visible, very apparent, easy to spot. But Adam and Qayyim, not so easy to see, not so easy to understand, not so easy to spot, but in plain sight. It would be right in front of you and you would not even know. This is the symbolism in the Louisville, Dallas, Texas Jamatkhana, where 5 are visible and together, where 2 are hidden at each corner, but serve as the pillars. So with that, I have one, there is one nazam, a dua about Jamatkhana. If Afroza Sahiba is present, she will recite this dua for us. افروزہ صاحبہ آپ لائن پر موجود ہے اینڈ کین آور ہوسٹ گیو her permission to speak؟
یہ علی مدد
مولا علی مدد
جی
بسم اللہ.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. دعائے جماعت خانہ کے فیوز و برکات. مومن کو صدا رحمت رحمان دعا ہے. مومن کو صدا رحمت رحمان دعا ہے. طاعت میں یہی مقصد قرآن دعا ہے. طاعت میں یہی مقصد قرآن دعا ہے. مولا کی اطاعت میں جھکا دو سر تسلیم. مولا کی اطاعت میں جھکا دو سر تسلیم. سمجھو کہ تمہیں ثمرۂ فرمان دعا ہے. مومن کو صدا رحمت رحمان دعا ہے. مولا رحیم دہر میں ہے نور الہی. مولا رحیم دہر میں ہے نور الہی. اس نور سے کچھ فیض کا امکان دعا ہے. مومن کو صدا رحمت رحمان دعا ہے. گر نور امامت بمثل راہ خدا ہے. گر نور امامت بمثل راہ خدا ہے. اس راہ میں بھی مشعل ایقان دعا ہے. مومن کو صدا رحمت رحمان دعا ہے. تو شام و سحر آ کے یہاں ذکر و دعا کر. تو شام و سحر آ کے یہاں ذکر و دعا کر. اخلاق و عقیدت کی نگہبان دعا ہے. اخلاق و عقیدت کی نگہبان دعا ہے. مومن کو صدا رحمت رحمان دعا ہے. ताअत में यही मकसद कुरान दुआ है ताअत में यही मकसद कुरान दुआ है अल्लाहुम्मा लक सुजूदी व तौती शुक्रनिल्लाहि वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शुक्रनिल्लाहि वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह कमी कोताही के लिए माफ़ी चाहती हूँ या अली मदद
खूब, सुभान अल्लाह, बहुत खूब। तो इसी के साथ हमारी क्लास का आज इख्तिताम होता है।